What's up? It's Matt Plapp. I've got a special guest today on a special episode of the Expert Deep Dive. We're going to talk about a restaurant client, a restaurant group that just canceled their services with our company. I think they're Looney Tune. Maybe I'm Looney Tune. So what I did, I brought my man DSP on, who's going to give me an unbiased, honest opinion. He knows nothing about what I'm about to show him. So I'm either going to get pimp slapped or I'm going to get a high five, or maybe it's in between. We'll find out. We'll be back in a second. What's up, Mr. Peters?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, huh, Mr. Rogers? It's that kind of day. I've worn my closest color to your color so that I could be, like level, because I don't know what the hell we're doing here today. You're just going to give me some info. I don't know. So bring it on.
So I'm gonna bring it on. So what this is a restaurant client we've worked with for 6 months. And, we work with clients all over the country, and I'll walk you through just real quick on a 3-step thing of what we do, attract, build, and retain in a second. But they canceled their services. I'll say this, they gave me the chance to have a conversation. Sometimes we get restaurant owners that you work with and then they go away. You're like, what happened? Like, things on our end look pretty solid. And it's like, I can't talk. And then they go away and it's like, man, this sucks. And I look at it a little differently. Like, financially, this client leaving our company doesn't not let me pay my daughter's college next month, doesn't let me keep my payroll. Financially, it doesn't really hurt the business. But I look at it this way. Our gym that I'm a partner in, the way I've told our trainers to approach it from day one, that is, somebody leaves the gym, you just contributed to their death. Might sound extreme, but if they go on a path of not eating correctly, not having the right support, not working out, they might die earlier. Well, I look at it from this standpoint. I know we're the best at what we do. And if a restaurant's not working with us and works with us and leaves, we just contributed to them not finding the success I think they could find. So that's kind of the goal I go from here. But this client was at least great. We had 3 conversations about it. I know the reason they ended up canceling. It still makes no sense to me. But what I wanted to do was bring you on, and I didn't tell you anything. You don't know the type of client, the name of the client. I'm not going to discuss the name of the client today. You know nothing. So what I'm going to do,
Correct.
I'm saying you know nothing. You know nothing about this situation.
I don't know nothing.
So let me share my screen here. Got that. Now we got this. Cool. Can you see that?
I can.
Okay, I'm going to blow it up a little. That's what she said.
Okay. You're all weak.
Is that better? There we go. That's easier to see. Okay, so the 3 things that we do, Mr. David Scott Peters, and you know this, but just for the studio audience, or I guess I do have a studio audience technically, for the audience on the internet land, is we help restaurants attract attention. We help them leverage that attention to build a database. And then we help them build that database so that they can retain the customer's attention long-term, meaning so that they can have conversations with people, emails, texts. I mean, we all get, David, I'm sure you get emails every week from restaurants, text messages. The majority of them suck, in my opinion. I don't know what you get, but I get a lot of them. And it's typically puking on me for a reason to come eat at their restaurant, which is why people don't retain customers very well when it comes to marketing. So those are the 3 things we do. And so this client, I'm switching screens here. I'm assuming you can see this. I'm going to go back and forth. Yeah. Okay, cool. So this client is a fast casual brand. So think Chipotle, but different type of food, not Mexican, okay. Good brand. We do a pretty good job. This guy that owns this runs pretty hard and fast. So they have 5 locations. Now, this is a snapshot of their actual dashboard, the main part. And I'm going to just walk you through this real fast, and I'm going to walk you through kind of breaking it down and then get your opinion. So 5 locations. They've spent in 6 months, because this was basically a 6-month agreement. They didn't renew. $26,535 was spent, and that is across all 5 locations for 6 months. I got a per location per month breakdown in a minute. But that is Facebook spend, software, Instagram spend, our cost of doing it. The way we do things is we break it down into basically 4 categories: what we're spending to attract people, what we're spending to build that database, what we're spending to retain them. But then also the 4th one is trackable sales on the front end to know we're on the right path. Because if we're building this database, it says opt-ins 28,372. If we're building that database of 28,372 and none of them walk in the restaurant, then we've just built a useless database, right?
Right.
So our goal is to make sure that we're on the right path. So in this case, that 26,000 drove a 1.7 million impressions. I'll get into that in a second. It drove 28,000 people to raise their hand and go, hey, me, of which, if you do the math over here, 55% were brand new, 18% or so are lost, which means they told us, I've not been to that restaurant in a long time. Because that's a question we ask people when they join this database that we use, this software called Database Dynamite. We ask them a question that makes them either say, I've never been, I haven't been in a while, or I come all the time. And so in this case, 83%, or is that no, 73% for the most part hadn't been in a while. So then I look down at the amount of people, 43% of them. So of the people who raised their hand from the advertising, 43% walked in the restaurant in that 6 months. A couple of them more than once. 15,398 visits, $250,000 in trackable net sales. The clients enter the check amount after the discount. So if they get a free appetizer, in this case, fast casual, there's not appetizers, but if they get a buy one, get one free, they're entering the net check amount after the discount. So if the bill was $20 and they get $8 off, the cashier enters 12. So it's already taken into account the discount of the retail sale. Acquisition cost is $2.65, meaning every time they spent $2.65 in our system, they got advertising awareness, they got somebody's data, and they got somebody to walk in and spend $16. So I broke that down into our categories. What I traditionally tell our clients is a way to understand how what we're doing is affecting their business is to break it into four. Because if you're running a restaurant, you're already advertising. So we're just going to advertise better for you. It's the same reason I go to restaurants. Last night, my wife and I went to a place called the Blind Squirrel. We went there. It's a brand new restaurant, pretty badass, actually. I think you'd love the vibe. It's an independent. They just opened a second location up here. They're from Louisville. But I went in there to have some badass chicken tenders because I heard they had them. I can't make chicken tenders. They have good ones. So just like we can run marketing better for restaurants, they can make chicken tenders better than me. So 25% of our effort of let's spend went to marketing on their behalf. So for $6,400 across the 6 months, across all 5 stores, we helped them get almost 1.8 million impressions. We helped them get 55,900 times that consumers clicked a button, commented, did something with their fingers like we like to do on the phone. Make sense?
Yep.
Next part, build. 25% of our effort goes to build a database. So for $6,400 again, we were able to get 28,372 people to give us their information, of which 55% said they had never physically spent money, been to the restaurant. It's a lot of people. And this isn't a brand that was brand new. They had had stores open in this market for upwards of a year. And they're within about an hour of one decent size market in the Midwest.
Okay.
27% said they come all the time. 18% said they used to come, haven't been in a while. So my math tells me 73% of the people were people that we were able to convince to make that step. Next is sales, because at the end of the day, us building a database of 28,000 people means jack if we don't have proof that those are the right people.
Right.
Direct mail. Have you heard the stats? Direct mail, 2 to 5% is a really good retention rate.
Yep. 100%.
So 43% of those people walked in for a total number of visits of 15,398. Now I say this, those are just the trackable visits. Every person, when they opt in, we gave them a chance to get 4 offers. So they got like a buy one, get one. They got a free side. They got a free dessert. I think it was a free drink. So none of them were crazy aggressive offers. They all encouraged people to spend, but majority of the visits came from their first 2 offers because the last 2 were pretty weak because it's a fast casual. There's not a deep menu. It's like if you go to Chipotle, you can either get a burrito, bowl, or tacos and some chips. There's not a whole lot extra. So same place here. But 43% of those people walked in to the restaurant from this promotion, 15,000 visits or so, 250,000 in sales. And I say net sales because it's not taking into account the discount that they got, but I know obviously they have overhead. They spent 26 grand to get that. The last part of the equation, which I'll cover in a second, is the retention aspect. We take that database, and this is what really hit us with the pandemic. A lot of the clients we worked with weren't using their database correctly, if at all. So we started doing the emails and texts for all of our clients 18 months ago or so. 25% of what we do is if you were to pay somebody to manage your database on a monthly basis. So in this case, 64%, it's 25%, $6,400 went to that. So I'll go to that real quick and come back to this. So just the retention aspect. We won't dig deep into this, but this is pretty easy. Email and text campaigns. I just looked at the stats for the email in this case because it's a lot of data. Most restaurants get an 8 to 12% open rate. Good restaurants get 15 to 20%. So here's the emails that we sent on their behalf, and we break the database up differently. This is that retention part. So 25% of their spend went to us managing this. 26% open rate, 33% open rate, 45% open rate, 36%, 48%, 61%. I've seen their other stuff. I know the national averages. This blows away that. So here's what it looks like, and I want to get your opinion now. We'll dig into your part, and I'll shut the hell up. Is that on average, each store spent $884 per month for us to help them out for 6 months. They got each store 59,000 impressions. Each store, 1,800 people a month did something. 945 of them per month joined this program. It drove on average 513 visits per month, and it drove $8,333 in sales per month per store. 73% of those people told us they were brand new or they were lost. So they weren't coming.
Right.
So this client canceled because this wasn't fitting their marketing needs. In my opinion, this is exactly what marketing's for. So I want to understand, Mr. David Scott Peters, give me some feedback on this of what you would see from an operator standpoint that would get you excited or make you depressed, and then what your opinion would be and kind of some feedback there.
Okay, do me a favor. Take us to the first page, first slide, where it is the dashboard. Okay, so while you were talking, I was doing a little math. Yeah, there we go. So for all intents and purposes, if I read this correctly, the five locations in total spent $26,535.30 in marketing.
Yep.
Your services, the ad spend, the rebates, anything that goes into the cost of running this promotion, $26,000, right?
So it doesn't count for the food cost of those discounts.
Understood. And if I'm a good operator, I'm going to be running a 3 to 4% discount rate anyway, which allows me to do some discounting. Now, I'm not somebody who's a huge proponent of like, let's go discount, but I'll give away a free meal for a brand new customer. Because as you and I both know, in our own businesses, and especially in yours because of what you do, the most valuable thing is your customer list, a list. And as you inferred with the pandemic where it came in, those people had a list survived much easier because they could pivot and tell their guests what was going on. Your customer list is the most important piece of data you'll ever have. So if anybody's listening to us and they go, oh, I don't even have a customer list. Well, frickin', you've got to change. You've got to get your suspects, your prospects, and your customers all in some form of database that you can message them on a routine basis. And that's one of the things that I like about your program is you're getting it done for them. You're gathering, you're putting it all together, you're communicating, doing again the ABR method. Now, with that said, I look at this, I say, okay, and look at the new customers. Love 55%. We've got 55% of these people came in or new customers. Well, it's normally the most expensive form of marketing there is to get a brand new person to come in. Often getting them to come back more often, spend more is an easier task. Well, now that's my frequent customers. So I, as an operator, if I'm looking at this and I want to be cynical and go, well, Matt, you didn't bring them in. Well, the answer is bullshit. It doesn't matter how it happened. It was that last message they saw is what triggered them. But let's say, for argument's sake, I'm an owner. I'm going to take frequent customers off. Matt, that you didn't do it. They were going to walk in anyway. Fair enough. Then we got the lost customers. This is a real number. For all too often, we look at the lifetime value of a customer. We need them to come back. And if we've done something wrong, gave shitty service, bad product, dirty restaurant, something happened that we're no longer top of mind for that customer. And a lost customer to me is 6 months or longer, because once you're out of that rotation, you could be completely out of the rotation. We don't want to be a once a year restaurant. We want to be a once a week kind of restaurant, minimum once a month. Again, lifetime value of a guest. So all of a sudden I'm going to say, for shits and grins, I'm going to take $138,000, $927, and I'm not going to use the 66. I'm going to add the 44,000. So that's $183,493, $93. I was writing quickly. So $183,000 for the most part is out there. Well, if I said on that $183,000, I take out the cost of what it is to run the campaign, $26,000.
Yep.
If I multiply that out, and I'm gonna make sure I've got my math right. I've got, let's just start here. I'm going to do it all over. 183,493. I'm going to subtract. Well, before I do that, stay with me, everybody. We're doing this live on the cuff. So we're going to say brand new customers and lost customers, which is damn near a brand new customer. I took out the frequent customer. I will side with you, Matt. It belongs, but I'm going to be cynical. Yep. So it's $183,493. Well, I'm going to say that a typical restaurant, if we follow the national averages, there's a concept or a term called prime cost, which is total cost of goods sold plus total labor costs, including taxes, benefits, insurance. Well, the old-time experts would talk about that a typical restaurant should be running about a 65% prime cost. If you're a full-service restaurant, quick service can be as low as 60. But I will tell you that the most people that I talk to are running about a 78% prime cost because they're not taking inventories, they're not tracking labor, they're not doing the numbers part of the business. But let's just say 65 is the number. Side note, I get my members down to 55% or under, which is a major change. So I'm not talking about my members. I'm talking about a typical restaurant, 65%. Okay. So that means 35% is left over to be potentially profit. That's 65 cents on every dollar it comes in, paid for the people to create it and serve it, and the food and drink you're actually serving. That's the cost of every dollar comes in. So I'm going to multiply that by 35%. That means I have $6,222.55 left over. From that, that's what I get to keep. But no, I spent $26,000. So I'm going to subtract $26,535. I now have in my possession, on what this customer may have said was a failed campaign, I made $37,687. Has nothing to do with the $66,000 in revenue I didn't say you get credit for, because that's my existing customer. So I was always taught that if I were able to go to a marketing person, say if I give you $1 to a marketing person, they say I'll give you back $3. How many dollars would you find? Well, I'll find every dollar I can. Well, in this case, you spent $26,000 in a marketing campaign, and you can prove that at bare minimum you made $37,000 off it. I mean, I paid for the $26,000 in advertising. I brought in all this revenue. I still ended up making $37,000. I don't know how you don't do this. And the fact of the matter is, what we don't have on here, what is the lifetime value of that new customer and that lost customer coming back? If they come what is your average ticket? Is it $20 a person? If they come once a month, well, that's 12 times 20, right? That's $24. They often don't come by themselves. It's probably $50. And so does a typical restaurant, you're going to be the 5 years? And so all of a sudden you start to look at this, and as you build these new customers into repeat customers, this assumes you have your shit together. Restaurant 101, hot food hot, cold food cold, clean, safe work environment, guest employees, wow customer service, incredible product, what we were put on this earth to do. It also takes into consideration on my side of work, are we also making money on that? Do we have budgets and recipe costing cards and all these things? If you're a gosh darn good operator, man, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know how you turn this off. I really don't. I could talk to you and go, well, can we do a little better, or explain the numbers to me? But there's a chance I'm going to say, I don't know the conversation. Yeah. But they screwed up and they're short on money and they're just cutting things without thinking about it. Services versus something to drive their business. And oh, by the way, if your restaurant sucks and this is successful, you're just going to tell more people you suck. So do know you got to have a good restaurant. Yeah. That's my 2 cents.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming on, because I'm curious. I'm always I take things personal, like just like a restaurant gets a bad review. I try to analyze and go, where am I wrong? And like this client, it's kind of comical. We've had 2 clients with similar stats like this in the past 24 months cancel. One of them, I understood the guy was just way too analyzation. Like he's spending 8 grand a month as a different client. He was spending 8 grand a month on radio and knowing nothing,
Right.
and spending 4 grand a month with us and knowing all this, and now it wasn't good enough. And so different conversation there. But this client canceled. And I've always looked at that annual impact is that number you talk about repeat visits. But I always tell clients, like, it's my job as a marketing professional to help you get in front of the right people, get them to take an action, and then go from there. Well, in our case, I've always been fine tuning this. We got in front of 1.8 million impressions. I mean, it's probably, 70, 80,000 people. We got 28,000 of them to take the exact action we asked for. And then we got half, almost 43% of those 28 to walk in the restaurant, which is about as good as I could possibly ever imagine. But what we look at, I always tell clients, it's our job to get them there once. Your food can't suck, service can't suck, and you better have a clean restaurant that they want to come back to. This restaurant, I've looked at the reviews. They have a lot of the solid stuff going there. I've been to 3 of their locations. I've eaten at 2 of them. They're good. These guys know how to run a restaurant. The part that when I look at it, that's what that annual impact is on top. What we do is the only assumption we make on this entire dashboard is for 2 reasons. Number one, I do not want our restaurant clients to become discount places.
Right.
I'm not a fan of you saying, hey, like Matt Plapp, I go to Barleycorns restaurant down the street here about every week. They don't need to give me a discount. I just need to see the word Barleycorns more often, which is where that retention part of our program comes in. And so what I've always told clients on our end is we're only trying to prove the discounts, the freebies on the front end are only to bribe people to get their data and then to give them something sexy enough to let us know that the list is good. 43% tells me the list is great. I know this client's operation, they do a good job. They do a pretty solid job. So if 43% of those people come back 6 times a year and spend $16, the impact of this list annually is $977,000 a year. And so let's just say Matt Plapp drank way too much Red Bull today, which I haven't had one yet. I had a coffee, but let's say I just drank too much. Maybe I snorted some dry powdered Red Bull. They make that?
Does that exist?
I don't know. That sounds pretty good though.
I mean, you're starting another business, a side hustle. But anyway, go ahead.
So let's just say I'm off by 75%. And that number is actually annual impact is $250,000. I've got a marketing company right here. We spend 50 G's a month marketing my business. You've seen the vans. We do a lot. We spend 50 grand a month to market my company. I've got a gym down the street that I'm a partner in. We spend money to market that. My wife is getting ready to open a retail boutique here in the next year. We will spend money to market that. If you told me I could spend 26 grand a year and get $250,000 back and all of those impressions and the data and somebody to use the data for me, I'd say, can I do it more? Can I give you more money? Like you said, but
100%. I guess so many people are used to throwing money at the wall, hoping it sticks. That's advertising, right? I'll do radio. Well, can you track it? Let me do TV in my market. Can you track it? Let me do a money mailer. Well, I can track it, but that's really doesn't bring in the customer I want. I'm not gathering their data. I'm just giving them something for nothing. And Groupon, they create loyalty. No, they create loyalty to the app and they're just following the discount. That's not somebody who I want. I want to give you the best service possible, the best product possible, get you hooked. And as I said, and even you said, I'm not against discounting. I'm against the overuse or misuse. And it's when you start using discounting as your only form of marketing, you become the pizza place to compete with the chains and you don't have their margins and you start wait for the coupon because that's the real price to purchase. So, but with that said, I will give away a free meal to say a new mover because we all have those 5, 10 restaurants that are on that cycle. We just keep going through. Hey, where do you want to go today? No, we went there. We've already gone there. Oh yeah, let's go there. When you've got a brand new person who doesn't know you, you get to be a part of their routine. Well, if I'm going to ethically bribe you, is what I call it as well, is I'm going to give you something for your contact information. Well, quite honestly, go buy a list. Go buy a list and that you want to market to, and you're going to spend thousands of dollars and you don't even know if somebody's going to come in. These are people saying, I'm interested in you. I'm interested in your offer. And now if you're telling me 43, 55%, like I'm coming in with that offer, which is off the charts redemption, and I do a good job. I've got you in my database. I gave you good service, great product, and I can get you to come back and you've got it. I think you're conservative 6 times a year,
Yeah.
but it may not be that conservative if I'm not in somebody's routine. It's that, but if I'm continually communicating with you and the brand is in front of me, it's that one moment they see that email or whatever it is, that contact that says, oh, I remember going there. That was good. Let's go there today.
Yep.
And if that spurs them on, that's incredible. There's nothing more powerful than a list. And there's nothing more powerful than a list that you can measure that it's actually working. So I'm going to side with you, brother. And I'm the ops guy. I want to cut, I want to make sure we're not spending too much money on marketing in the first place. But in this case, I'd be opening my wallet.
Well, and that's why when we created this was I remember talking to a business owner about 7 years ago, because I've been in the consulting space for a while. I mean, is this aspect since '08 with restaurants and 15 exclusively restaurants. I've always told people, like, even this particular client, he called me back in the spring before we launched these stores because we know him from a couple other restaurants. And he said, should I cancel my current marketing with my ad agency? Because he had an agency. I said, I don't know. Like, why would you ask me that? Like, I don't even know what they're doing for you. I'm not going to tell you to cancel something that might be driving sales. Do you know what's happening with it? He showed me all the data. I looked at everything and I gave him a professional opinion. I said, we can take over what they're doing and give you the call to action, get you the, because they were just doing, the impressions. They were doing impression marketing. It was click here, go look at our website, blah, blah, blah. There was nothing else. I said, we could easily replace that and add a lot to it. But what I've always told people is, don't cancel something that you know or don't know is working. Because what happens if that $1,000 you're spending a month is bringing in 5, and then you cancel it and that 5's gone next month, and you wonder, like, cash flow is king. And there's always different things about having cash flow coming in and having things. I look at it from people, and you're right, 6 visits is low. Like, my son eats at Chipotle twice a week. No shit, twice a week. This is just like that for those type of customers. 6 visits a year. Why I always say that is that I'm going really, really low. I'm trying to make this, you understand, because most of our clients don't get this crazy of a response. And I remember 2018, I'm on stage. I had spoke at a Facebook Messenger conference, and there was a gentleman there from Greece who is, I think, the number 3 highest guy in Facebook at the time. He was in charge of Messenger. And I was one of 3 people that, because I was a speaker, that got to ask him a question. And I said, I want you to explain to me and I kind of knew the answer, but just hearing it from somebody that you perceive as a hell of a lot smarter and a data guy. And I said, walk me through, because we had a chicken tender place. They had 48% redemption rate. It was killing it. And I said, walk me through this. Why is this working so well versus direct mail 3 to 5%? He goes, Matt, think about it. They saw the Facebook ad. They stopped. They clicked a button. They went into Messenger. They answered their visit frequency, their phone number, their birthday, their email, and then you delivered an offer. You just 8 things in a matter of like 30 seconds that they did. If that money mailer comes in the mail, they might see it with one of the 40. They throw it on a counter. There was no effort made on their part to secure the coupon.
Right.
In your instance, they did all this crap. I mean, if somebody gave you their visit frequency, phone number, email, birthday, name, phone, all this stuff, they took a lot of action. Like, they went to the dance with you. They held your hand. They made out with you. There's a lot of things. And the clients never outright come out and told me exactly what happened. I have a pretty good inclination. They hired a controller. The controller came in. They saw that this guy's spending money a lot of places. They saw the discount line and go, because, I mean, there's 15,398 redemptions are in a point of sale somewhere as a discount. And they went, we discounted 15,000 visits over. I mean, we're probably only, if I had to guess, 8 to 12% of their visits in this instance. So they're looking at that percentage, maybe even lower than that. They're looking at that. They went to, because I saw somebody who was kind of comical. I send them an email. I'm pretty open with everything. I send them an email, and we have a very deep dive in their data. And I get a request to look at the Google Docs data from somebody from another marketing firm. Well, I'm not going to give that person access. I mean, it's my data, but they can get it from the client. But I looked at their website, and it's a generic, I mean, it's literally an online service you pay a couple $100 a month for. You click a button, they give you some BS advertising campaigns. They go, it's like, equivalent to, me comparing a Rolls Royce to a Honda moped. And so they literally went from, hey, okay, now we're going to eliminate 15,000 redemptions. We're going to eliminate 26,000 in cost, and we're only going to add 3 grand because we got a cheaper product. So now this controller, in my opinion, just did medical malpractice from the restaurant world, because they're looking at this the opposite way. I look at it like, well, you just took away the conversations with $1 million in sales.
Well, I'm gonna just even look at this and say, okay, let's say the discounts were outrageous. The cost of goods on those sales, it's not going to be $37,000, but let's say it is, and you broke even.
Yep.
The lifetime value of that customer, if you did your job, far outweighs, because most of us just waste money on marketing and we pray, will it ever do something? You can prove it. And again, if you did a good job and you're not getting them hooked on a coupon, that was just the lure, the ethical bribe. And I know a little more about your program because I've spoken for you at your shop, and I've learned a little bit more. I've got members who are using you. It's the number of touches. If I get them to come back to 3-4 times, you've got them hooked. And it really is paying attention to the lifetime value. And the other side of this is, depending on where your sales are, at the bare minimum, you sit there and go, well, I'm keeping my place busy for the short term as I go through those visits. I'm keeping people employed. And then if I did my job right, they're coming back. And if you keep building that list, if you keep building those number of customers coming back on a routine basis, how do your sales not go up? It's impossible unless you suck and you're driving people away.
Yeah, when we built our boat dealership, I tell people this story a lot, and I try to equate it to the use of data, because that's how I built my entire career. Was in 1999 when I bought a book from Glenn Warner at S&S Computer Store in Burlington, Kentucky, and got the book on how to design a website. Me and my dad and brother built outdoorconsignments.com, started an online RV and boat brokerage back before the internet was crazy. We started in 99 and we went to 2008 when the economy collapsed, but we went from 0 to 15 million in annual sales, which is a big number in that business. And that data that grew because every person, the one thing I was really good at was every person that walked in, I found a reason to get your data. I used to make shit up on the spot. I remember one time I walked up to Richie Young's desk and I said, hey, I knew who the guy sitting in front of him was. He was part of a big family, just all sorts of hillbillies in the family, which were in Kentucky. And I'm like, I guarantee you every brother, uncle, cousin, and sister in his family has a boat, camper, and an ATV. I walked up and said, hey, man, has Richie told you about the friends and family promo? And Richie looked at me like, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, we send a $25 gift card on your behalf to anybody you sign up. I just created it because I saw this guy and it made me think, how do I get his Rolodex? He goes, you're kidding me. I go, no. He wrote down like name, phone number, everything I could get from these people. And we put a program in place at that point. And Richie's like, where'd that come from? I said, I just saw him. It triggered. I thought if I can get if I can get 10 people he knows, we can sell 10 boats. We can sell 10 campers, 10 ATVs. And we consistently did that. And the reason we went from 0 to 15 million and past places like Her Marine and Loader Marine and Dixie Marine, who were doing 3, 4, 5 million, was because we always got data. And then we used the data to sell them over and over and over. And to me, that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's why we had a client of ours last May call me almost in tears the end of May. I said, what's going on? He goes, man, I want to thank you for COVID proofing our restaurant. I said, COVID proof? What am I in there with antibacterial spray? What do you talk? I didn't even catch the connotation. He goes, dude, this time last year, we were 99.9% dine in. Right now, we are 0% dine in. 3 months ago, we didn't have online ordering. We weren't third party. We didn't have nobody took our food out, but we listened to your advice on getting on Facebook Lives and telling our story. We then took that 18,000 person database you helped us build the last like 20 months. It was actually 14 months, 18,000. And we used the database with your help and we didn't skip a beat. We're up. They were up in May. COVID hit in March. By May, they had taken a restaurant that was no dine-in from all dine-in and using a database, re-educated how people could spend money with them and why they should. And they killed it.
Here's the deal. No matter whether it's marketing, what you do, whether it's operations, what I do, uh, the one thing it takes to be successful, you have to be a leader. And that's really it. So you've got to trust your gut. You've got to take the numbers and still trust your gut. And we take numbers and we hope that they justify the decisions we make, or opposite, and they scream at us and say, "Don't do that again." But I'm gonna tell you right now, Matt, I was conservative on my numbers. Even if you broke even on this, the lifetime value of these new people and retargeted people. Again, I'm going to play the naysayer as an operator. Well, those existing people would have come in anyway, so I'm giving you credit. You don't get credit. Well, you do. It doesn't matter where you see the message, what triggers you to come in, it works. But the fact of the matter is, those numbers are really difficult to walk away from. There has got to be another side story, and somebody else has a friend who has their own service and they're switching. They didn't have the stones to tell you, or somebody wanted to cut costs, and you're just a service to somebody who doesn't understand. That's all I can say.
No, I agree. Well, cool. It's Friday. I'll let you go on with your day, enjoying the sunshine out there in Arizona. We're going to go back to the cold weather here in Kentucky in the gloomy days.
It's a choice. That's all I can tell you. It's a choice, but I appreciate having me on. I hope that was helpful. Next time maybe you'll give me some background. I don't have to come in cold. As you're talking, I'm writing notes. I mean, I was rude. So I apologize.
No, I wanted you cold though, because I wanted this to come across as organic as you're one of the few people. I've got friends of mine that I could be like, dude, taste this burger, and it could be a dog crap on it, and they'll be like, Matt, this is awesome, and you're a great chef. I know you're not that guy. And I wanted to have you come into this cold, because I was thinking, okay, am I losing my mind? Is Matt Plapp crazy? Like, what the hell am I not seeing here? I kind of know a couple things. I'm like, same thing you said. But even then, you've got to make a decision that's right for your business. And I wanted to say, hey, I'm going to bring on somebody I know is going to give me a no bullshit answers. It's not going to fluff up Matt Plapp. It's going to look at this. And you're the best restaurant operations guy I've ever seen,
Thanks,
from a
brother.
standpoint, especially helping people get where they want to go. And so I knew you would give me that. I'd say, you know what? I don't need to get in the data. If you come out and tell me I'm an idiot, then I'm like, okay, cool. I need to reevaluate, but I'm glad to see that I'm not as dumb as my wife probably thinks I am. So David Scott Peters, how can people find you if they want to get some opinions on running their restaurant better?
I'd love for them to join me. Come visit me at davidscottpeters.com. Or if you want to kind of float out there and learn a little bit more what my style is, what I teach, go to YouTube and look up David Scott Peters. That's my channel. That's probably a good spot to kind of learn what I'm doing. Last but not least, you've been on it. I've got a podcast, Restaurant Prosperity Formula, found on all the popular podcasting services.
Yep. Restaurant Prosperity Formula. It's a great podcast. Your book is amazing. We give it out to a lot of clients, and your advice is amazing. And more than anything, I appreciate your friendship. So I appreciate your opportunity to have you on today. Appreciate your honest feedback. That's all we got.
Thank you, my friend.
See you, David.